Good morning. Well, welcome to the morning show. I'm Joe Slick, your host, of course. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening around the world just to keep you up to date. And it's not an update, it's a report because updates are after the reports. So, everybody, I'm going to do an update. What am I updating? It's just one of my pet peeves. Anyway. Some interesting events are going on. The sun is going bonkos. And the earth has got some funky sets of earthquakes I'm reading. And we're going to check into a little bit of volcanoes too, what's happening volcano-wise around the planet. And some interesting weather that's going to radically change. For those of you that are east of the Rockies, it's a little cooler weather than normal. Well, guess what? The heat's coming back. Yeah, there's these waves that are happening, man, and it's just about to change. We're baking in the West. We just went through a cool spell, and it's going to change. So over there. We have fires in Wales and near Scarborough in the north in Yorkshire moors. Yeah, that's up in the UK, and strange weathers. I mean, is it really strange, or is it just different than what you've been used to the last 3 months? We have solstice coming up in what, almost 26 or so days. Yeah, solstice, right? Yeah, fall is coming. Summer's almost done for the north. Those in the south, such as Sergeant Schultz, and it's like super nighttime for her. It's winter, and it's coming into spring down there. And we'll see what goes on, how much flooding happened. How many fires have started in the summertime, this next one. La Nina is, tipping her hand. It was a weak La Nina last year. Kind of an interim between the two, El Nino, La Nina, and how it plays into our weather. Not to mention this. I was talking to a buddy of mine 2 days ago, maybe a day ago. And he was saying, the earth is getting warmer and, climate change and stuff like that. I told him, hey, bonehead, we're just coming out of an ice age. We're still in an ice age. When we're completely out of the ice age, the earth is like 8 degrees warmer, or maybe even 12 degrees warmer than it is right now. What? Yeah. You think about it. We're 15,000 years out of an ice age. How long's an ice age? Between 1.2 million and 5 million years. So look at how big the ice age and where we're at. Okay? We're just barely coming out the ice age. Geologically and all that stuff, science stuff, that the idea that the earth is it's gonna get warmer. We're leaving an ice age. I mean, hello, can you really dig it? Can you dig it? I mean, for real, everybody. They're just crazy people out there that want to sow fear and trepidation. So what is their point? It's kind of like preachers from the old days, and even today's. The old days being what, 500,000 years ago, right? Oh, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. Maybe it's the end of the world that you know. But is it the end of the world? Life itself has had to deal with a lot of crap since the earth was created. There were thousands of different kinds of species of living beings, and and animals and non-animals. I don't know what you call them, amoebas, or that lived on this planet, and they don't live here no more. There's been in some cases 20 different or 20 plus different times when life was completely wiped out except for just a few strains. There are 5 major ones that scientists watch and have kind of broken down the eras of time where life was completely, I'm talking about just not things walking on the ground, I'm talking about in the oceans as well. Some 250 million years ago, one major event happened. The spreading of the Siberian traps was one. Then the mid-Atlantic was the other. Both of those, how life is around today is really bizarro. And we're studying our planet in Earth science. It's basically what we do. This is basically an Earth science site. Studying the world around us and getting a perspective beyond the limitations of our own lives. We walk often automatic pilot. You ever driven home from someplace and you don't remember how you got there? That's automatic pilot. You forget what you had for dinner the night before. You got to think about it. That's automatic pilot. You're not necessarily conscious of what you're doing throughout your day. You're not consciously working toward a goal. Oh, I go to work every day. Yeah, you do. For somebody else, probably. And it's the doldrums. Well, I read a book. All right. I watch TV. Whatever you do. I play games. I do a puzzle. Or, I'm sweeping up crap or wiping the baby's butt. There's a lot of ways our mind and our brain just dumps stuff. But for some, they're stuck in the past. They can't get over a traumatic event in their lives. And as such, it affects everything they do. It affects the way they love, the way they interact with others, the way they treat their family, or lack thereof of all those. Life itself is tenuous, but it's always trying to survive. There are people in your lives you'll know, and if you really just get down and you just watch them and you study them, they're just waiting to die. They're not making an impact around them. They're just going through the motions. One generation after another, after another, after another. Why? Because they're part of life. Some people are woke, and they're just complaining and bitching and moaning. I didn't get my extra milk. Then some of us are conscious of what's going on around. And there's some things we can change, and there's some things we just can't. And then there's sometimes we even graduate to the next level and knowing that there's not a whole lot we can do. But the fact that we've been awakened to what's happening around us, we can share that knowledge with somebody else and impact them, rather than create fear, create all the world, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Oh, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming. Hey, I know I'm hitting a nerve right there, but that's on purpose. For the latter, I think you need to study when and what needs to happen prior. It isn't just external events. There's an internal event that happens there. And that's all purely spiritual. There are some things that are set in order and nothing's going to change. However, we can mitigate the damages by telling people, hey, don't live at the base of a volcano that's active. Say, hello, I can't live anywhere else. Yes, you can. You make the decision to move. If you're in a flood zone and you know it's going to get wet and there's storms are going to come, you move. Look, hurricane season. We're entering a major part of hurricane season right now. You want to live in Florida? You want to live in the deep south? Tornado Alley? California? For earthquakes? Let alone the political side of earthquakes. Shoot howdy. There's all these things that are in our lives that are distractions. And what are they distracting us from? Everybody's search is going to be different. But once you get unlocked and you wake up, blue pill, red pill kind of thing, it's not aliens running us. It's not the outside universe that's shooting rockets into our universe and our solar system. It's fantasies. It's not someday that you want to be a man when you're a woman, or a man or a woman that wants to be a man. You want to change something. It's kind of a radical change, don't you think? Political parties, they're both bad. All of it's bad. However, we got to mitigate what's real bad and what's bad. Choose the lesser of evils. Seems like that's always how it's been. But here, we're searching for the mechanism that runs life, or that can impact life as we know it. We know that volcanoes just, they don't just put crap up in the air. When they put the crap up in the air, other things happen. We get less sunlight. The earth gets warmer. Plagues happen and have happened. Crops die. Food gets scarce. And people die for a lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. And the elders with lack of wisdom, because all they're thinking about is their own gullets, their own bellies. working together, we can see all these things that are interrelated. And that's what we're going to try to do. And that's what we do try to do here at Joe Slick Studios. You know, we have the morning report. Periodically, we have the evening report. We have rabbit holes that go deeper into discoveries of different varied topics. A lot of times it's geophysical and stuff like that, volcanoes or great events and the historical records about a given area, earthquakes, storms. But those are we're gonna begin to expand upon those. And we've been talking about it for a couple of years, Canuck and I, and I think eventually we're going to start morphing those things, some other things into the rabbit hole. We might change the name rabbit hole for those type events, type of discovery things. But rabbit hole specifically here, when talking about geophysical stuff, is a deeper look into earthquakes and why they're happening, the solar influence, and how much influence does it have, the mechanism behind it all. The idea that earthquakes happen, they just happen, is because science hasn't figured it out. It's such a big subject. People tend to focus on a specific fault or a specific geographical location, and then they get tunnel vision and can't see that it's related to the entire world. We primarily talk about the Pacific Plate and its interaction with everything. They even named it the Ring of Fire. I can't stand it. But it's because it's not necessarily a ring. It's kind of a horseshoe, And then there's kind of pieces that are added to it, as you go around the maritime continent. And it's like, how is that a ring? It's really a horseshoe, right? Or is it? Maybe there's underwater volcanoes. There's lots of those, right? We don't even know how many. On any given day, there's, 500 volcanoes or 250 volcanoes that are active. Out of 2,000 volcanoes that we've known. I'm just throwing numbers out because it's about like that. Earthquakes are happening every day, as we see on our world map, as this Earth is put up here in the middle for you. As you see, the further the circles off the globe, that depicts the depth into the Earth that the epicenters are located. The white ones generally are pretty recent, within 48 hours. Red ones are a little bit beyond. Sometimes, we can trace these volcanoes, and they seem to happen along plate boundaries, which is the little black and red lines. Mostly the red lines would be countries. The black line there, that's a plate boundary. And if I shared with you the tectonic plates of the world, just by opening this and then, bringing it down, you can see there's different types of boundaries, plate boundaries, continental, oceanic convergent boundaries, continental rift boundaries, oceanic spreading ridges, continental oceanic transform faults or strike slip faults, non-subducting plate boundaries, subduction zones, and we have orogenies, and we have major hotspots, minor hotspots, depending on the size of the circle, and then orogenies, or the way mountain building events happen, and then looking through the Mediterranean Sea, you can see what different types of events are happening there, or plate boundaries. And then if we move over to the Orient, then you'll see, and the maritime continent, you'll see there's a lot of different breaks in the plates. And then you get down into north of Australia, and it gets really broken up, right? You'd think if something hit the earth, that those cracks would be there, right? Yeah. We do have another one on our side of the world, the U.S. side, the Caribbean plate. Lots of different stuff. Yet up here is where one major event happened that killed all the dinosaurs and almost every living being that walked the land. Everything that had the breath of life in it. Almost everything. Yeah, almost everything. Flames and fires and everything took place as a result of that one. Dinosaurs all got wiped out. Yet life came back. So earthquakes happen not just on the plate boundaries, but inter-plate areas as well. Like we see a lot of earthquakes in Texas. See a lot of them in Kansas. Well, that's from drilling wells. Those earthquakes existed well before that. Idaho. In the mountains of Idaho. Yellowstone Park. Lots of volcanoes. California. Well, that's just because the San Andreas. And then all the drilling that it did. Yeah. There's a whole lot more. What about the East Coast? A lot of earthquakes happen there. What about there, the New Madrid Fault? Right in the middle of the United States. A couple of huge quakes. 3 of them. At a minimum. Huge. 7 plus. 3 of them. Some say, yeah, there were 8s. Some say, 7.2. Maybe even 6.9. Maybe an 8 birthed a couple of 6.9s. It happens. Maybe a couple of 6.5s. The effects were tremendous in the continental U.S. Sometimes people are on boats and ships out at sea, and a giant wave comes up and pummels their boat. Even these giant ships that are floating cities can take a huge wave and smack it and nearly sink it and lose 4,000 people. There are places in the world you just don't want to take a boat or a ship. Lots of events. It's all pretty interesting to me. But how do we just digest all this stuff? And when we do digest, what do we do with it? Well, it kind of yeah, nothing to the power of a violent ocean movement. Yeah, there's nothing. You can't do anything about it. Yeah. Except for maybe fly above it, And there are things in the air that, invisibility, downdrafts, updrafts. There's a reason why planes fly at a certain speed. There's a reason why trucks going across bridges have a speed limit. There's a reason why ice truckers travel across ice with big trucks at certain speeds. Invisible. There's a lot of invisibility out there. But learning about our planet kind of is supposed to kind of humble you. And realizing that you're just part of the whole thing. Although you can have a unique personality, you belong to a larger group of things. And life on this planet is tenuous at best. And I've said it over and again, and I say it again. Life is tenuous. It struggles to remain. Yet we all die if we're born. We're all gonna die. There's a time to weep. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to die. There's a time to live. Two sides of the same coin. It's time to make war. It's time to make peace. We're not all God. But together, we can try to work these things out. You need some people that are pretty sane to work things out. And get rid of some cuckoo-ness, wackadoodle-ness. And sometimes just being wackadoodle is okay. If it doesn't hurt anybody. And then you take your wackadoodle hat and put it on a shelf and get back to normal. You know. But today we're going to start with what's happening on the sun. And that's my little monologue in the beginning. The sun's crazy right now. Yes, it is. And let me see if I can... There we go. Let's get back into it here. Zooming this page down. There you go. And this is pages that I use for relaying information to you. But at first I'd like to say good morning. Good morning, Timmy. Good morning, Walleye King. I know you're out there digging a hole. You'll bury it later, I know. Susan, good morning to you, sister. Rambling Wreck, nice to see you, Amy. Eden, always a pleasure. Columnist 55, and brace you, sister, love you. And you woke up bringing a little bit of humor today, and I kind of enjoyed that. Croatian Dude 96, rest well, buddy. Flutter Girl, hopefully the storms are, let you sleep. I know you had some storms up there. Denise in the UK, always a pleasure. We've seen, what was his name? Not Daryl, not Dennis, but the guy that lives in the UK Bayou. We seen him the other day. Sister and I did. It was nice. And crunk across the creek. Why it has to be in a or a Scotty, a Scottish or a whatever. I don't know why. To me, it's a great name. I love it. And then Myrtle. How you doing, Myrtle? And I'm not going to say the other names because they don't want me to. But I encourage you, sign in to the site. Sign in. Don't hide. And don't fear the retribution of those who, if they see you here, you'll get excommunicated from the other sites you go to. Is it really that important? Gosh. So many of them. So many of us. Did nothing wrong. That got excommunicated just because somebody got a little, That's why we don't do any drama here. You do drama, hit the road. And but you get to enjoy the benefits. You know, there are other sites that are popping up all over the place that bring the same information. I appreciate you here, and they have their own quirks too. It's okay. I'm still learning how to do this. No, I'm enjoying the journey, and I hope you are too. Solar wind right now is 382. Proton density is at 6. We had a C9 and an M1 flare in the last 24 hours. But there's a ton of sunspots that just went. we were almost empty of solar activity. Then all of a sudden, look out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sunspots, and more is on the way. Last week, we watched a huge halo blast that went away from us. That's coming around for the end of this week. Those, and next week, those sunspots, they're coming. Also, 4197, it's kind of morphed. Now it's broken apart, and they've numbered all the other ones. 4199, which is on, both of these are on the western limb. About 4 days, they'll be Earth-centered. These things are kicking off a lot of M's. And 97 has the capacity, because it's so unstable, can pop off an 8. I mean, whoops! Freudian. Can pop off an X flare. Now, this time last year, right around solstice, we had a couple of X's. Go back and check it out. All my exes live in Texas. Not mine. Yeah, well, whatever. Anyhow. Did you watch the Starship yesterday take off and launch some practice satellites and then land in the Indian Ocean? It was great. Interesting stuff happening there. Yeah. I mean, they polluted the ocean, but hey, whatever, right? It'll just get subducted and put into the center of the planet. Whatever. But interesting. They're moving along pretty well. I think this is 17 different rockets that gone up. It's like a big, massive dildo, you know, super tall. And it sat on top of one of the other main rockets and launched up into space, and it flew. Burned up a little bit. You can watch it if you watch the repeat. You can see some of it melted. And they expected that because they wanted to put that rocket through its paces and to see how much it can handle. They put it right to the end. And then as it was coming down to the ocean and land, they stopped it. It hovered, and then they blew it up as it hit the water. Boosh. Interesting. If it really did that at all. I'll leave it right there. There are some people say nah. Well, anyway, fun stuff. Anyway, but yeah, it was a big event, and massive Starship. It is pretty damn big. Super Heavy booster launched it up, yeah, and the booster landed, and they caught it. So hey, look at that. But back to what's going on. There's also a let me see if I have that link. No, I don't. Anyway, there's a comet that entered our solar system, and get this, when I tell you every day about these rocks that we're following, the near Earth asteroids, right? They're usually 100 meters or greater, but I also talk several of them that aren't that large, like today being the 27th. There's 3 rocks out there. One is 63 feet across. One's 180 feet across, and another is 75 feet across. All of these are 750,000 or up to, looks like 3 million miles away from us. And they're traveling. I think the fastest one is 9.7 lunar distances, so 238,000 multiplied by 9.7, right? Let's go ahead and do the math for you. Yeah, 238,000 miles is 1 lunar distance, multiplied by 9.7. 2,308,000 miles away. Okay, this rock is 180 feet across. Right? 180. Now, it's traveling at 18.5 kilometers, right? Every second. So if I multiply that to get a minute by 60, that's 1100. Multiply it by another 60, that's an hour. 66,600 kilometers an hour. How many is that for a miles per hour? Roughly 41,000 miles an hour. And this is a 180-foot rock. However, there's an asteroid. It's relatively close to us. It's not within our range. It's going to get pretty close to Mars by September sometime. Then October, it'll be the back behind the sun, and we might see it. It's traveling at 130,000 miles an hour. It's the fastest thing they've ever seen. It came into our solar system a short time ago, and it's going to go out our solar system, right? The odd thing, though, is its tail, as it goes around the sun, right? Things go around the sun. Usually, the solar radiation of it pushes a tail out the backside, off the screen here, right? Problem is, the tail's going the opposite way, toward the sun. Almost like a rocket that's trying to land on the sun. Some people like to say those things. I'm just letting you know it's traveling through. Just like the other ones. This one's going super fast. 130,000 miles an hour. Noctilucent clouds. These are ice crystals up in the sky. We talked about it yesterday. Beautiful picture. Boy, this is a fantastic picture. These are way, way, way up in the atmosphere. Yeah. These are from comets and asteroids that burn up in our atmosphere. Also from rockets, ice crystals, stuff that created up in our atmosphere. And generally they happen during the summer and disappear in the winter because it gets cold and you don't see them no more. But hey, pretty cool. Solar wind. Let's go back to solar wind a little bit. Our magnetopause. We had a short little discussion this morning about interesting magnetics that are happening. As we're seeing here, the standoff distance of the solar wind between 12 and 14. Dynamic pressure, that's the pressure it takes from one magnet to repel another. It's well below 0. So proton density, that's the stuff that's coming from the sun, the hydrogen, helium ions, and other ones that get mixed up, which I think are probably the two particles that almost create everything. Yeah, ionized and charged and mixed with other things, it kind of changes things, right? We lose radical protons and add it to another thing, all of a sudden it changed into a different particle, didn't it? Yeah. You know, water, H2O, 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen. There is a thing called H3O as well. And when it loses 1 particle, yeah, figure it out. Just kind of tease you a little bit there. Proton density stays pretty low. So looking at this chart here, velocity of the wind is at the top. It's not a whole lot of velocity. This is what's interesting to me. This is the density, proton density. The more white it is, the less proton density, which is the plasma coming from the sun, which is magnetized. But anyhow, you'll learn more, and you can add to it. You can see this is computer generated. When the wind comes in, you can see more protons and then less protons, right? And you can see how it buffets our planet, the magnetopause of our planet, right? And then also looking at the dynamic pressure, one magnet upon another. The more red, the more pressure, with the waves of wind being pushed upon us. We did have an S1 radiation storm the other day when the M4 hit. We'll take a look and see how we're doing today, though. A little bit of pressure, not a whole lot. You have 2 magnets, one pushing on another, and they're both the same, right? You think all the activity is happening right here in between? Well, if I drew it on a map. And turned off the earth, right? Let's say we had 2 magnets, right? And this one's a positive and this one's a negative. They're going to attract. If it's a positive and a positive, they're going to repel. If they're repelling, do we assume that this is the activity right here that's only happening? Or is there activity happening here, and here, and here, and here? So, to me, B is less than A. Does it make sense? It's stronger here than it is out here. However, it's still out here. I'll let you ponder that. So, anyway, as we look at the ground magnetics, right? The magnetics that are perturbed all over the globe at the ground level. You can see some kick up, right? What's the classification for considering a space object to be an asteroid? Well, Atlas reignite the largest volcano on Mars. Interesting. Could. It's going to get real close to Mars. So some magnetism happening across the planet at a low level, right? Looking at the X-ray model, right? This is the X-rays that have happened, you know. There's an uptick. If I go 7 days, you might see it better. It's an uptick of proton flux, right? It's kind of actually coming down a little bit right now. We just had a near M1. Let me see if it made it to there. No, a C9.4, 9.4. The other one, the lesser frequency, kicked up too, pretty strong. And then it's starting to drop off. Is there a relationship? Yes, there is. We're not going to get into it. Just going to tell you what's going on. In addition, we already did that one. You can see the radiation level is nominal, right? You can see the KP index, interplanetary K index, right? It's kind of at 3. It means we're not expecting to see much, right? That's what we can see. Let's look at the angstrom, this one here. Right here is where all the activity's been happening, right here and right here. Right? More activity right there right now. Just in the last 24. Or the last 4 hours. Look at the radiation up here on our planet right now. It's red. You can see the attenuation of a flare, a C9. It just took place. You can see what's going on. Our Earth is absorbing a lot of radiation right now. It's the impact of solar X-rays on HF radio communications, high frequencies, right? Long-range communications using high-frequency radio waves, 3 to 30 megahertz. Depending on reflection of these signals, the ionosphere, radio waves are typically reflected near the peak of F2 layer, or 300 kilometers in altitude, but along a path the F2 peak back to the radio wave signal suffers attenuation due to the absorption by the intervening ionosphere. Sun is affecting our planet right now. How much? Well, we have to kind of see what affects, right? That's why we start with the solar stuff. Give you a foundation by what's happening in our planet as we look to see what's going on in our areas, right? So looking at the tremors in the Pacific Northwest, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of tremor going on. Is it tremoring? Right up in here by Roseburg. Yeah. Up here is stopped. Crazy. It's been bouncing crazy. All of a sudden, nothing. Let's go ahead and look at the volcanoes. Look at Mount Rainier to start with. Hi there, Faith. How are you? Just off the mountain. Seeing if there's any noise out there. Not a lot of noise. A couple little earthquakes or movement. Melting of the snow. Melting of the glacier. Cracking, making noise. Vibrations. Looking over at Helen's. The most active volcano in the Cascades. We'll look over here. The Upper South Fork repeater. There's some noise. A lot of little noises. Because it's the most active volcano. A lot of little earthquakes happening around. We did just have a couple here in the last 2 days. The resurgent dome is coming back. Remember how it blew its top and going out towards the northwest? Off the mountain, see, Marata, seismogram. Some vibrations. Some, not a lot. It's not a flat line. See a definite earthquake down here. Could be small. Looking in the south, let's go over to Hood. View the seismogram. Yockum Ridge. That's a lot of noise. Let's see about off the mountain. Hiyu Mountain. Still a lot of noise. It's inconsistent, but let's look down here. Mount Hood National Forest. A little bit more. There's some noise happening, coming through. So this is where I'll take a detour over to the weather and see if it could be weather related, the noises, vibrations. Continental sectors, going at the U.S., you'll see definitely some weather up there. And if I went localized and checked out some weather here, over St. Helens and that, there is some weather there. Right? Even over Hood, definitely some weather. Lightning, thunder, and storms. That's all the stuff that was down here by me. Monsoonal moisture rising from the south. Interesting. Yeah. So those vibrations could be due to weather. If we looked at the wind over Vendusky, Ferdinand's way out there, Juliet's out there, right? Don't see anything over the Orient. Moving in, we're looking at what wind speed? About 10,000 feet. Got a low pressure coming in. Definitely a low pressure here, but there's some wind. 7, 6, 3, 4. What? Really? So can it be? No, not unless it's not wind that's making a noise. Could be thunder and lightning. Some weather out here, 27 miles an hour, isn't here yet. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's weather related. Juliet's moving north at 31. So if we looked at the Hurricane Center, there's another one right below her. 50% chance the next 7 days becoming something. And there's another 30% chance the next 7 days, as well as way out there at 7 days. So if you notice 1, 2, 3, and 4 going northwest. I saw a report that was suggesting that cold water is rising up and going west. To us, it's east. Japan's in the east, right? No, it's in the west. Funny. Central Pacific Yep, there it is. The Atlantic. There's Ferdinand. Just barely a level 1 hurricane. It's a tropical storm right now. So, on the cusp. And I don't think there's anything reported to be coming out of Africa. No. High pressure over the central part of the Atlantic. Cold front moving off Nova Scotia. Warm front moving north. This is low pressure here. Over mighty old jolly England. Low pressure moving across. Some high winds going to kick up. Yeah, 18 miles an hour, generally speaking. Looking at the storm index here for the U.S. today. Marginal over parts of Wyoming, or Colorado, I should say. Some storms moving their way through Oklahoma and Kansas. Way down into deep south, Texas. Louisiana's got some. A little bit here in the west. Some rain moving east, of course. Way up there in Dakotas. No, actually, Dakotas are clear. Minnesota. I don't think I'm going to watch football this year. I haven't been watching a whole lot of it. I don't understand why the Purple People Eaters decide to change tradition. Are they appealing to a group? The NFL is not for long. If it continues. And figure it out. If you haven't figured it out already. Anyway, so the East Coast is a little cooler. That's going to change everybody. Remember, it's going to change. Enjoy the coolness while you got it. Drunk Chinaman. Is there a drunk Chinaman out there? Let's see. Over here on the western side of the maritime continent, not a whole lot. Nothing in the eastern side, way up north in Alaska and down the coast. Nada. And on the Ruski side, nothing happening. Or maybe is it the Venezuelan side? Did you know the U.S. sent a bunch of ships down there? Are we going to do a blockade? Or are we just going to interdict any ship that is found coming off of Venezuela? Or are we going to bomb the drug lords and knock out Madrosa, whatever the hell that dude's name is? Yeah. Maybe Brazil's problem? Maybe we get a toehold and work on Brazil? Anyway. Off subject, eh? Looking at the volcanoes today. In the news. According to Volcano Discovery. Let's see. Let me get down here. August 27th, 2025. Today, right? Santa Guido, Fuego, Karaminski, Simiru, Ibu, Dacono, Murapi, and Reventador. It isn't just them that's erupting. Those are just making headlines. Dempo volcano in Indonesia. It's continued to erupt, but we don't talk about it a lot, do we? Now, Sakurajima. 10,000 feet out of Sakurajima. Now, I would say that's an explosion. They call it an eruption. It exploded. exploded. Anyway, little Toby, little, lackey, 8,000 feet. Well, it beats 63,000, right? Yeah, crazy. Dacono's still erupting at level 2. Look, even with Dacono, man, they're popping left and right, and they only got it to level 2? I mean, shoot, sometimes it's 3 miles high, beyond the top of the mountain. What makes it level 3? Etna volcano, its eruptiveness has decreased a bit. And it's probably because it's got too many holes in the side of the mountain. And it's going, Yeah. It's 2 at a level 2. I don't get it. What the hell's a level 3 or 4? Fuego mountain. Explosions occurring about at a rate of 9 per hour. So, although it didn't make the news, it's still popping. Yeah, 9 an hour, bam. I mean, that sucker is like, that's why they call it Fire Mountain, Fuego, right? Fire. It pops all the time. 9 times in an hour. Every hour. On the hour. Yeah. Ibu, like Dacono over there in Haramarhara. I know I add a consonant. It's just my way of doing it. All right? Sorry. I'm American. We do it things our way, I guess. Reported the eruption continues at Ibu. Alert level remains at level 2. I mean, it's popping 8,000, 12,000, 16,000. And it's only a 4,600 foot mountain. It's popping a mile high, 2 miles high, 3. Crazy. Little toe B, little toe low, and little toe B. We talk about these often. One's lackey, little toe B, and the other one's different. Level 3 is little Tolak. I'm just checking to see if Mom's all right. Yeah. Level 3. Little Toby. Level 3. Maybe it has something to do with the violence of the explosions. I don't know. When a volcano pops, it's popping for a reason. It's not just farting in the wind, but it's coughing up, ash and SO2, sulfur dioxide. Me Rapi there on Java over the last week. Plumes rose a maximum of 50 meters or 160 feet. It's at level 3. Me Rapi's at level 3. But it doesn't make the news. Reventador. There in Ecuador. Continuing to erupt. It's at a level 3 as well. Okay. San Maria there in Guatemala. It had 2,600 foot explosions, incandescent stuff, still popping up. Santa Guido is the Santa Maria complex. Santa Maria exploded early in the 20th century, blew itself apart, and Santa Guido's what's coming up in the front side of it. And it's Santa Guido's 12,003, same height as Simiru in Indonesia, same height as Fuego in Guatemala, 50 miles away. Bernie Talong volcano, Indonesia. We talked about that yesterday. Unrest is continuing. Still level 2. Why are these? I don't get it. These other ones are popping 3,000 and 4,000 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20,000 feet even. And they're at level 2. And this thing's just got some activity. Rumblings, grumbling. Like my belly grumbling. Whatever. Orangutan out there in, Indonesia. It's a level 2. It's still pulsating. Mm-hmm. Pacaya volcano there in Guatemala, which is about 25 miles south of Fuego. So you have Santa Guido, Santa Maria, and go a little bit south. You have near Guatemala City, you have Fuego, and just a little bit more south, you got Pacaya. Pacaya, 2 years ago, was erupting, and magma came out, lava came out, what do you want to call it, and it ate up some people's farms. Didn't kill anybody, but a lot of smell. You smell? Anyway, Dacono emissions are happening there on Halmahera. Sangay in Ecuador, still doing its thing. 22,000 feet out of a 17,000 foot mountain. That's nearly a mile high. But it's level 2. Little Tolo. 6,000 feet out of Little Tolo. Little Toby, Little Tolo. 6,000, but it's only a level 2. I don't get it. Ibu, like Dacono, is porting to over there. Halmahera, the Molucca Sea between. Philippines are just north of them. Tsunozajima, south of Japan, by 500 miles or so. 6,000 feet out of a 2,800 foot mountain. Okay. So usually it's like from ocean level, sea level, all the way up. That's the height. Semeru on Java, Indonesia. Still doing his thing. Pardon me. Fuego volcano there in Guatemala, 14,000. Santa Guido, 14,000. Pretty steady. Fuego near Guatemala City. Santa Guido, just north of it by 50 miles. Shisholden. Unrest activity has increased. And it's at level 2. You got volcanoes that are erupting, shooting crap up in the air and rocks and hot stuff, and they're at level 2. Yet this one just has unrest. Maybe because the capability of being something bigger. Little Toby erupted again at 7,000 feet today. And early on, Aventador just farting in the wind. Sakurajima erupted at 9,000 feet. That's bottom of Japan on Honshu. Which is Aria volcano, eh? Oh, Ira. A-I-R-A. Aria. I make words up. It's at level 3. Poas volcano down there in Costa Rica is a level 2. Still doing its thing. Awu, Indonesia. It's at level 2. Kelimutu volcano, Indonesia. That's a new one. Unrest. It's a level 1. Let me see here. That's a new volcano name. See if I have it on the volcano list, eh? All right, so right there. Klimatu. Save the projects. It's a new volcano. It has some unrest. It is a volcano. It will mess your world up. Done. So interesting that that's active. Which, you know, Klimatu's here. Laki, or, you know, Little Toby and Little Tolo. Tolo, Toby, Klimatu. 3. We also have Mount Agung, right? Merapi. But actually, that's another Merapi. Raung is active. Simiru, Bromo. A lot of these volcanoes are active. They're level 1s and level 2 statuses, but Kerinci, Indonesia, level 2. Do you know where Kerinci is? Watch this. Way up here on Sumatra. It's active. We have Kerinci, Merapi, active. Dempo, active. Krakatau, active. A lot of activity out here. Haven't seen Toba or Sinabung active, or Brunei is active. Kazutsu volcano, Japan. We talked about that the other day. Active. Level 2. Rincon de la Vieja. Activity continues between August 25 and 26. The alert at level 2. This is interesting. Now, you know about Indonesia. I've shown you that, right? Let me go right over here to down here by Costa Rica. All right. Poas volcano is active. All right. Rincon de la Vieja, active. All right. Talica, active. In a short space. Talica right here. To Poas. 360 kilometers, or I mean, how many miles? This damn thing. Miles. About 230 miles. 3 active volcanoes that are emitting stuff. They're level 2s, but as I've shown, level 2 can still pop 8, 9, 10, 13, 20,000 feet. But maybe it has to do with the danger level. That's why they got it. You know, stay back further. Because we just don't know. So, this trench out here, a lot of activity in here. We don't hear much about these other ones, right? Plenty of earthquakes happening through this area. We'll go into that right here. There's a Tura Alba. It's at level 2. All right. I bet you that's real close to the others. I think I saw it. Well, I don't have it on my list, so I'm saving it to projects. All right. So in that area, what we're seeing now is activity in Terra Alba volcano, right? Why do I have it up here? There's the volcano. Then why is it down here too? That's just the city. I have it on there. The volcano is actually right there. So this volcano's got some activity. Poas has some activity. Rincon has some activity. Tolica has some activity. So from here all the way down to here. 150 miles? Yeah, it might break up there, Eden. Interesting. Nevada del Ruiz doing its thing. Karaminsky, not identifiable on satellite. That's up there in Kamchatka. Dukono erupted today. Marapi today. Simiru today. 1500 Simiru. It's 12-3 going to 15. Ibu doing its thing. Fuego 14. The birds are telling me feed them. Dieng Volcano Complex, Indonesia. Another one. Unrest. Level 2. Well, D-I-E-N-G. D-I-E-N-G. Yeah, the birds are right on my door. Tell me, get over here. All right. Volcanic complex. Ding. Volcanic complex. All right, that's right in here. Level 2. Right there. And you can see how it sank down. And look at all the people living in that area. Save the project. It's a new one. Crazy. Mm-hmm. There's another one. Giri Parango volcanic complex or volcano. Let me see if I can get this one here. Parango. Let's see where this one is. I don't recognize it. There we go. Parango. Mount Gidi. Activity continues. Northern Java. Papandayan volcano, Indonesia. Oh my God. That's got to be on what, Sumatra? Seems like we're going upwards. Nope. Right down in the middle here. All right. Mount Papandayan. Save the project. Activity continues. It is a active volcanic complex. So it looks like Java is pretty darn busy, doesn't it? Soputan volcano. I think that one we just were right next to it. Nope. Active. See how dark it is. I already have it on there, but hey, all right. Elevation 58,853. All right. Tangabang, Indonesia. It's a level 1 bypassing. All right, and that's, well, seeing how that's the last one for today, let's go ahead and copy and look it up. Sobaton is a level 2. It just so happens to be right where we were before. All right. More gobbledygook of volcanic activity on Java. Very, very, very active area. Java is due to what? The Java Trench. So that'll do it for the volcanoes. Let's get right into the earthquakes today. Remember what's been happening over the past little bit. Western Turkey still going off. Zooming down for 12 hours. Well, Kuril Islands 12 hours ago had a 6.0 right out here. Wait, let me go like this. Right out here in the Kurils. Kamchatka. Just south of Kamchatka. Looking at 4, so Peru-Ecuador border region between Peru and Ecuador had a 4.3. 5.1, the Sandwich Islands, which has had that near 8, or was it an 8? Got dropped down to 7.5. Yeah. That was over here. Now this is out here. Oh. Pressure moving, maybe? 4.4 off Kamchatka. Again, still doing it. Vanuatu, right out here, Vanuatu, west of Fiji. 4.9. Oaxaca, Mexico comes in at a 4. It's pressure moving up. Kamchatka again, 4.9. Offshore Colima had a 3.7. That pressure moving up from a 4.1 to a 3.7, moving up the coast. The Kurils, 4.6. And Western Turkey's like ding, 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 ding. It's like non-freaking stop. Puerto Rico, 2.3. Idaho, Southern Idaho got a 2.1. France got a 2. South Carolina, 2.0. 4.7 off Kamchatka. Colima again, another 3 in Colima, Mexico. Worry about Colima a little bit because, yeah, historical record. Colombia pops with a 4.8. Why? Excuse me. Yeah, that's kind of near some of the volcanoes in Colombia. Western Gulf of Cali had a 3.6. That's up in the Delta, it looks like. Yeah. Baja had a little earthquake, could tell. Right there in the San Felipe crack. Yeah, 3.2. And 3.6. 4s, 3s, 3s. Michoacan, Mexico. And it's moving up from Oaxaca, 3.5. 4.6 off the coast of Kamchatka. Baja, California, 3.6. Again, 3.6. Baja. Baja. Down here. And one up there. Bang-a-ding-a-ding, right? Pressure moving up from Mexico into California. Western Mongolia, 4.2. Way up here. Mutual con 3.2. Utah comes in at a 2.5. Let's see if that's near the lake. Yep. Just south of it. Carlsberg Ridge, 5.2. That's right out here, middle of the Indian Ocean. Offshore mutual con Mexico, again, 3.6. Myanmar, 3.5. Western Turkey is continuing with a bunch of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. If it hits a 4, I'll tell you. Nicaragua, 4.3. It's Central America. Valparaiso, Chile, 3.9. Lake Baikal region, Russia. So there's 2 Russian quakes that are close to 4s. Or a little bit over 4. .9 Central Peru. A lot of turkeys. Japan, Kyushu, 4.3. That's down here, Kyushu. Taiwan popped with a 5.3. That's pretty powerful there. 5.1 Hindu Kush, Afghanistan. The stands have been really quiet this year. Periodically there's a banger, but just periodically. So they've been silent for some reason. Even with all the great big giant activity, they've been really quiet. 4.5 off Kamchatka, Ryukyu Islands, Japan, 3.3. That's the area where all those 5s and a bunch of stuff is hitting down there by Suwanozajima. 4.3 an hour ago. Tanimbar region, 4.3. Right down here. Sicily had a 2.9. Continues to pop, even though Etna, which is on Sicily, it's kind of calming down. Near the coast of Ecuador, 3.6. And Northern California comes out to 2.1. And Chile, Central Chile, 2.9. So that's pretty much it. Mm. 2.0 Washington, yeah. I didn't see that one. Guess we had to go to USGS. And then tell it to all. Right in there. A couple little bangers, 1.5. 2.0. That's off the other side of Mount Rainier. And this one here on Amboy. Here's Mount Adams. St. Helens is Amboy. Why they call it Amboy? Why can't they just call it St. Helens? Yeah. Activity coming out of Salt Lake or going in, one of the two. Interesting how coming around this city you got makes a deep dive back down south. The San Jacinto Fault, very, very, very active. The Elsinore Fault, still pretty active, banging forth. Andreas, not too much until you get up in the San Francisco area. Here we go. South Carolina, right? And then we got out here in Tennessee. And then we have this one up here in Missouri. Nice line. Yeah. Taking a look at the fires in North America. Idaho, bunch. Montana's got a few. Out through Wyoming. Definitely down the Mongolian Rim and up from Utah. A couple in Cali. And up here. What about them? Yeah. I've read some interesting stuff about these fires. They generally happened in one day. Lightning bolts? Or some kind of EW. I'll let you figure out what EW means. I guess you'd call it EWW. And the second word rhymes with bear. Polar bear, maybe. Two consonants, not polar bear, but bear. Anyhow, that's all I'm going to say about it. Stay tuned. We should have a rabbit hole tonight. And it'll be on YouTube and Rumble. Look forward to seeing you there. Love y'all, and thank you for your subscriptions and your gratuities. You can type the word !TIP and !TIP, and you can leave a gratuity there. For those on YouTube or anywhere else, streamelements.com/JoeSlickLive/TIP is the best way to leave a gratuity there. If you want to have a specific rabbit hole or discussion in a specific area of your interest and you know something about it and like to be part of it, or if you just like to suggest it, you can reach me at JSL Discussion, that's singular, at gmail.com, or yeah, that's where you can reach me. Big hugs, and we'll be on YouTube tonight and Rumble. Love y'all. Have a good day, and don't get on you and tell somebody you love them. And remember, we do love you here. And if you need prayer, you can ask for it. That's right. Have a good one, baby.
Every twist and turn we dig for the gold, holding power accountable, brave and Gear up, my friends, it's gonna be wild. With Joe Slick leading, you'll be beguiled. The truth is waiting, don't miss the call. Like Joe says, rise up, we'll break down the wall.
All right, we'll see you on Rabbit Hole tonight, everybody. Love you. Remember, don't get none on you, huh?